What's up, guys? Welcome to Strength for Today's Man. This is volume 74. Thank you for tuning in. I want to welcome all of our new listeners today and all of our new viewers for the very first time. George, this one is for you. I appreciate you tuning in and subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much. George works with my wife there at AAA. Wanted to give you a special shout out to you, my man. All right, guys. Today I want to stay in Matthew. I want to go to Matthew 6, 3 and 4. And this is Jesus talking, and he says, "But when you do a charitable deed, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, that your charitable deed may be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will himself reward you openly." All right, guys, how many of you listening and watching really enjoy giving? You really enjoy giving of yourself. You give financially, you give materialistically, you just give of your time. How many really enjoy giving? All right, with that being said, you already know the title is Don't Let Them Know. Just don't let them know. The Bible says, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, okay? So when you give in secret, God is going to bless you openly. You don't have to brag. You don't have to boast about anything that you're doing for other people. I know a lot of people, they like to show on social media the accomplishment that they're doing for other people, how they're blessing other people, how they're giving back to the community. Okay, that's fine in its own place. But as an individual, if you're doing this to show off, if you're doing this to brag, if you're doing this to boast, you need to pump the brakes right there. Think about this for a second. How many times have you been at an event? How many times have you been at a conference? How many times you've been at a church setting? How many times have you been at a party? Doesn't matter what it is. If there's a lot of people around, there's that one guy or that one woman that always seems to want to boast about themselves. They always talk about themselves, what they've done. They talk about the places they've gone. They name drop. All the people they know that's famous that they rub shoulders with. You know those kind of people? They're always talking about what they have accomplished. They are the extreme stunt person. They have given to the needy, and they just want you to know. They just want to brag about everything that they themselves have done. Doesn't matter. Even in their conversation. You can be in a conversation at work. They always seem to bring the conversation right back to them. You can be complimenting someone else in the office, and what happens? They bring the conversation right back to them. You can be sharing in church, and then they'll get up right behind you and share not only what you said, but they'll share it all about them. It turns right back to them. But in the end, all of that boasting, all of that bragging often leaves us, the ones that are listening, the ones that's putting up with it, the ones that's tolerating them, leaves us feeling a bit sorry for all of their hidden insecurities, because that's pretty much what it boils down to, insecurity. They're insecure in one way or another in their life. So what they're doing, they're compensating for the insecurity that they feel about themselves, and they have to brag and they have to boast about certain things that they're doing. So rather than placing him on a pedestal or her on a pedestal that they're trying to reach, because it's in their own little mind, in their own little world, they're trying to reach that pedestal. So instead of putting them on that pedestal, we need to pray for them. That's all we can do. Pray for them. Encourage them. It's not about them. It's not about you. It's not about what you're doing. It's not about how much you have. It's not about what you have. It's about helping others and getting them to understand that it's not about them, but it's about other people that you help. Is what you say helping someone else? That's what we need to stop and think. Is what I'm saying, is that beneficial to someone else that's listening to me? Is that edifying them? Is that encouraging them? Or is it about me? It's all about me, 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 me. We used to have a president like that. All about me. And if I could tell you all kind of lies to get you to like me more, well, I'm just going to lie, lie, lie. But in the end, we have to understand why these people are doing the things that they do. Okay, let's put it personal. Why are you doing the things that you're doing? Why are you saying the things that you're saying? Is it to draw attention to yourself? Do you need that approval? Where are some of the insecurities lying in your life? What are some of the insecurities that are in your life? Where do they lie? Where are they? What are they? Do you even know? I understand people don't even understand why they're saying the things they say because they don't realize that there's a deep hurt in there. There's a longing, there's a loss, there's a fear of loss in there somewhere that they have to embellish. They have to tell all these fantastic stories so people can like them. Even in the same vein, when we talk about giving, we talk about generosity, and we talk about what we do for people. I say, don't tell them. Just don't tell them. People that give donations, I'm talking about large donations. I'm not talking about your $5, $10, your $20 donation. I'm talking about $500,000, $200,000, $100,000, $10,000. That's the kind of donations I'm talking about. People that give $5,000 here, $1,000 here. Those people, those that brag about how much money they're giving, we have to really question why. What's the intention behind their gift? Okay, we want to give. Nothing wrong with giving. We enjoy giving. Nothing wrong with that. But what is the true motive behind the giving? What's the intention behind that gift? Is there a deeper meaning behind why they're bragging, why they're giving, why they're showing off, why they're giving, why they're being boastful, why they're giving? Those are the things we have to really address personally and individually, and whoever else that it involves. We have to address those types of problems. Jesus talked about the rich, he talked about the poor, and he talked about money a lot. A lot of people don't realize that. But when you hear Jesus' story, what does he talk about? What is he encouraging us with? What are some of the narratives that he's talking about? The poor, the rich, money. These are the things. Giving always seemed to be top priority with Jesus. Give, 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 give. He always talked about giving. Look at the ultimate gift that he gave. He gave his life. Not too many of you listening and watching are willing to give up your life for someone. But what are you willing to sacrifice for someone else? What are you willing to give? And in that giving, don't tell anybody. Just don't tell them. Leave it to their imagination. Who gave this? God is going to bless you openly if you give secretly. If you go walk down the street, you slip somebody a 20. Keep on walking. You're blessing them. But what are your motives behind that? So you can be blessed? What are your motives behind you sharing with someone so you can get in return? That shouldn't be your motives. We know that you cannot outgive God. You cannot be God-giving. That's a good motivation, but don't do it just for that fact that God's going to bless me even more. God's going to bless me. God's going to bless me. That's true. He is. But have pure motives behind why you're giving. As Jesus talked about giving, as he gave his life, generosity can seem easier said than done. Sometimes in our life of surrender, when we surrender to the Lord, our wallet is the final thing we hand over to Jesus. It's the final thing we hand over to God. Why is that? It's because when we've given in the past, our money has not been used for good. People have swindled, People have cheated, and that's all in business. It's there, even in some of our churches. Some of our churches, our leaders have misused the funds. But here's a deeper revelation for you. When you give as God purposed for you to give, when he blesses you on your job and he says, give your 10%, give your 15%, give your 20%, give your 50%, whatever you're giving. God just says, give. And when you do give with the motive of wanting to bless. So now here's the deeper side. Whatever they do with the money is on them. All you're required to do is give. Not complain about how they're misusing the money. Not complain about how they're buying new cars with your money. Not complain about how they're buying new houses with your money. Not complain about how the planes that they're buying with your money is just worth millions. That's none of your business. Even though I know it's your money, however, God says give. Anything outside of that, God is going to take care of. God will handle the misuse of money. Think about all the people that have misused the funds that have come into these organizations, these churches, these nonprofit organizations. All the money that has been mishandled, been cheated, has been swindled. God takes care of them. In the end, they end up getting arrested. They end up doing prison time. They end up losing everything they have. So all you need to do is just be obedient to God and give. You don't have to tell anybody. Don't tell them. Just continue to give, and God's going to continue to bless you. When we do give in secret, or simply without all that fanfare, you don't really care who knows. You just want to be a blessing to someone. I know people that have given millions of dollars to college funds, and they want to be left anonymous because God is going to bless them greatly for that. So remember, when you do give in secret. Now, if you want to tell your family and friends, I was able to bless someone, I was able to do this for someone, and it just made me feel so good inside. Leave it at that. But don't publicly go out there and broadcast this. Hey, I've done this. I did that. Look what I did. Me. Well, you've just received your reward right there. It's when you do things in secret that God blesses you openly and publicly. Let me finish with this. Whether it's writing a check to our church, our favorite charity, or giving time to our local community center, whatever it is, there is no need to let anyone know. It's our choice. Do we want God to be glorified, or do we want man's empty praise? It's your choice. Don't tell them. And I see people bragging about what they have on social media all the time. I see women boasting about the shoes that they have, the makeup they're getting, the clothes that they're getting, all that brand name, the cologne they get, red bottom shoes, the Pradas, and all of the materialistic things, the brand new car that they're getting. Okay, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. But my question is, what's your motive? What's the intention there of sharing all the shoes you have? When you buy a brand new pair of shoes, do you have to show it off? When you buy a brand new purse, do you have to show it off? When you buy that expensive perfume, do you have to show it off? I know that we strive and we need attention. We need approval. We need that because of the hidden insecurities that we have. You might be in debt up to your eyeballs. No one knows it but you, but yet you want to show off all the expensive items that you are acquiring, whether it's from you or from a whooped spouse. Somebody that's just, okay, honey, oh, what else you want? Men, stand up. If you know you can't afford it, and if your wife is saying, if you love me, you'll get me this, that's not love. If they're saying, the only way that they can show me love is by buying me this and buying me that. I don't really love them. I don't love them. It's all about what they can get me. That's not love. You need to really reevaluate that relationship and get a handle on that. However, when it comes to sharing and blessing people, don't tell them. Let me close with this. God, help my heart to be in alignment with the heart of Jesus. Cultivate my heart for the poor within me that would lead to generosity. Guys, how generous are you? And in your generosity, in your giving, in your sharing, in your blessing, don't tell them. Let them find out for themselves where it came from. God will bless you openly. Remember, you cannot be God giving, but do it with the right frame of mind. This is Strength for Today's Man, Volume 74. I'm Malachi Mitchell. You guys go out there, be generous, be a blessing to someone else, but don't tell them. I look forward to seeing you right back here for another podcast. Remember, subscribe, like, and share the podcast. Don't keep it to yourself. Share the wealth. I'll see you real soon.